Income inequality explained by the superstar effect. Why the best player earns more. 13 November 2019. Income inequality is a phenomenon that we intuitively know exists, and to some extent have made peace with. As questioning it feels more like questioning gravity. Gravity has a level of acceptance since the only time one ever questions it is when they are opposing it, in which the answer is simply objective. The object needs to be in a constant rotation or circular motion. This level of acceptance is still ambiguous for income inequality, due to the complexity of human subjectivity. Hence, it remains one of the world's biggest dilemmas, and its dynamics are so fascinating, especially explaining it by means of the superstar effect. The superstar effect is a theory, by an economist Sherwin Rosen, that explains why some people reap so many more rewards than their peers, who are only slightly less talented. Sherwin Rosen argued that technological changes would allow the best performers in a given field to serve a bigger market, and thus reap a greater share of its revenue. This would further reduce the spoils available to the less gifted in the business. Such income inequality amongst peers can be simply explained by human behavior, since if I only need one product and the price is the same, then I might as well get the best. In emerging economies, fast economic growth increases inequality, as some workers benefit from new opportunities while others do not. Inequality provides incentives for people to accumulate human capital and improve productivity. It pulls the best and brightest into the most lucrative lines of work, where the most profitable companies hire them. For example, international football tournaments hosted by UEFA, the Union of European Football Associations, have been second in prestige to the World Cup, thus attracts vast viewership, and as a result, became the most lucrative in FIFA, the International Association Football Federation, which continuously attracts the best and brightest players. A Brazilian player, perhaps signed by one of UEFA's top clubs, would earn relatively more than their peers signed by one of CONMEBOL's, the South American Football Confederation, top clubs, due to the scale of the market and quality of matches, resulting from technology advancement and other variables that are not present in South America. Therefore, it is monetarily advantageous to operate in a larger overall market, and it is increasingly advantageous the more talented one is. Rosen provided an objective view of income inequality as his premise was. When the joint consumption of technology and imperfect substitution features of preferences are combined, the possibility for talented persons to command both very large markets and very large income is apparent. The practical importance of all this is related to technical changes that have increased the extent of scale economies over time in many activities. Undoubtedly, secular changes in communications and transportation have expanded the potential market for all kinds of professional and information services, which allowed many of the top practitioners to operate at a national or international scale. Everywhere one turns, in competitive markets, technology offers the people who understand it an edge. Furthermore, talented individuals also target superstar organizations, as they are not only industry leaders, but everyone associated with that organization makes relatively masses of money, while the rest are left behind. This perpetuates both virtuous and vicious cycles, and explains why there is inequality in almost every aspect of life. A research study by the McKinsey Global Institute extended the superstar effect to firms, sectors, and cities, where a greater share of income was concentrated amongst the top compared to their peers, who were also pulling away from their peers over time. They found that superstars exhibit relatively higher levels of digitization, greater skilled labor and innovation intensity, more connections to global flows of trade, finance, and services, and more intangible assets than peers, which also emphasize the importance of technological change to drive large-scale, matched with extraordinary abilities. However, the grass is not always greener, as the superstar economy has been found to turn people off. For instance, winner-take-all games tend to elicit much less player effort and more negative behaviors, such as sabotage and cheating, than those in which rewards are distributed more smoothly according to performance. Furthermore, it would be illogical for us to think the superstar effect is the sole cause of the stagnant incomes of regular Joes. So, the big question is, how does one oppose income inequality in the superstar economy? Since most people are interested in bypassing the system, the question should be, how does one win in the superstar economy? Since superstars are replaceable, Cal Newport, the author of How to Be a High School Superstar, has an unconventional ideology on becoming competitive. Newport states that being the best in a field makes you disproportionately impressive to the outside world. This effect holds, even if the field is not crowded, competitive, or well-known. Therefore, in a world where everyone is competing in the same domain, find your own uncontested space and seek to become the best at it. This can be done by knowing your edge and combining it with skillful attributes or activities to create uniqueness that has commercial value. Ultimately, superstars succeed because, according to Professor Ram Shivakumar, they have discovered the art and science of bottom-up innovation, with lots of experimentation, tolerance for failure, and the application of leverage when the forces are with them. Shivakumar highlights 4 pointers to bear in mind in the quest of superstardom, which apply both individually and collectively. 1. Listening and engaging with a wide variety of models and opinions. 2. Being ready to change your mind. 3. Being very opportunistic in the way you make decisions. 4. Doubling down on what works. Opposing income inequality in a superstar economy requires us to understand human behavior. We are wired to be disproportionately impressed with those who are the best at what they do. However, this effect is blind to the competitiveness of the pursuit. Therefore, leaving things as they are will further cause destabilization in economies, and posing policy using conventional wisdom of taxes has limitations. Thus, a broad-based approach that partly tries to increase the competitive environment while simultaneously redistributing income would be more feasible. After all, there are occupations, industries, and countries with lesser income inequality, like how Germany had managed to spread economic activities across the country for decades. To conclude, qualities that are often overlooked with superstars and superstar economies is honor and respect. The solution to curbing income inequality in a superstar economy lies in understanding the vanity and motivation behind being the best and using it to an advantage. If governments and policymakers want to achieve this, focusing on awarding ethical behavior and philanthropy through giving honors and status need to be prioritized, thus aligning personal ambitions and desires with socially beneficial goals.